Hello, my name is Emma Tobias, and I haven't filmed a video in like a month. It's been busy. If you see my last video, which you all should have because it's been a month and that's the only video I've put out in a month, you should know why. I'm not even gonna say it. God, only true fans. Please comment down below what's happened, and I really want you guys to take this seriously because I need you guys to prove how dedicated you guys are as enemies. Anyway, this is going to be my very, very belated May wrap-up. Fun fact, haven't finished a single book in June. It's June 21st. Normally, I, at the very end of the month, will, like, end up reading, like, 5 books. That's what normally happens. So I'm hoping that that's what happens. I might not do a June wrap-up, so... First book I'm going to talk about that I read in the month of May was The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. Oh no, not The Cruel Prince. The sequel to The Cruel Prince, The Wicked King. I wasn't a huge fan of The Cruel Prince. I thought it was just fine. I really don't like a lot of Holly Black's other books. So the fact that I wasn't a big fan of The Cruel Prince didn't super surprise me. But I was like, everyone was like, The Wicked King is better, like, read it, blah, blah, blah. And you know what? People were right. It was better. I really enjoyed it. The world building part got to be interesting for me. I didn't really find it all that interesting in the first book. Cardan became more interesting to me. Jude everything became more interesting to me. It could have been just the time of day or my mood that I read it that happened. But I also believe it had to do with the book's quality itself. So yes, I read The Wicked King and I really enjoyed it. The next book that I read was a graphic novel, The Adventure Zone by the McElroy brothers, plus their father Clint. I read this because I am a big fan of the McElroy brothers and I really enjoyed it. I don't really have a lot to say about this. This is based on their D&D podcast, Adventure Zone. If you are a fan of the McElroy brothers, obviously you probably have read this. If you're not a fan, I feel like this is a funny, good time book, regardless if you're a fan. So, yeah, pick it up. The next book that I read was Calling Dr. Laura. This is a graphic memoir, Queer Owned Voices, about a woman who kind of accidentally finds out about the truth about her father, her biological father. And it's kind of a slice of life, sort of slight narrative graphic memoir. I enjoyed it. I really like the art style. I like the way that she talked about her life. I like the depiction, well, her real life depiction of queer relationships. It was really interesting. It wasn't like my favorite graphic memoir. I'll get to my new favorite graphic memoir in a moment, but I really, really enjoyed it. So, favorite graphic memoir I read this month, and probably like tied as like one of my favorites of all time. Oh, I'm doing a drum roll. Kid Gloves by Lucy Nicely. If you've been following this channel for any amount of time, you will know Lucy Nicely is one of my favorite writers. She is a graphic memoirist. She is really great. I've read all her books. I'm a huge fan of hers. And this is about her pregnancy and her birth of her son. This is a really hard book to read. I feel like there's just so much of it that's just so sad and heartbreaking and real. And hold that thought, I have to go get the makeup that I want. And more. It is beautiful. It's so beautiful. I really love this book. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I haven't been using ratings this whole time because ratings are arbitrary, but I genuinely really, really, really loved this. And now I'm going to rack my brain to figure out what the next book that I read this month was, or in May was, and it's going to take me a minute because it's hard to remember these things. Oh, there, I got it. I read Pages & Co., Tilling the Book Wonders. This is a middle grade book about a girl whose mother has gone missing, because I feel like that is the crux of a lot of middle grade. She lives with her grandparents who own a bookshop. I'm looking at my phone when I have a mirror right here. Her parents own a bookshop, so her grandparents. She lives there. She's a big fan of books. And then one day, in a very twee sort of fashion, book characters like Anne of Green Gables and Alice in Wonderland start coming out of their books. I quite like this concept. The Air Fair series by Jasper Fforde is one of my favorite series of all time. It brings me such joy and happiness. This is like that for kids, which is cool. The world building is a lot less crazy, but obviously this is for kids. I think this book is totally one of those books that, for me personally, only really works for kids. I thought it was cute, I enjoyed it, but like Wondersmith or Harry Potter or even like the Mysterious Benedict Society, I think there's a certain charm to it that works for all ages. And this one felt very kid focused, which is perfectly fine. That's not like a criticism of the writing. There's just a certain plot element for me that was so ridiculous as an adult that it was really hard for me to get past it, which is why this wasn't my favorite. It also took me a really long time to read. Whatever, but this is, I'm gifting my copy of this book to a child in my life, so. I'm gonna finish doing my makeup, but have a lovely day. Bye. Why am I doing ASMR?